Hey YouTube, wanted to talk about a knife that I recently got, well, pretty recently, yesterday. It's my first kind of venture into small knives, and it's just so happens to be Spyderco, which is really the majority of my collection, but I don't have a lot of small knives. I guess the smallest thing would be a mini grip. Yeah, that's probably the smallest I have. But now, I would say that this is definitely smaller than that. And I'm not sure how I was going to like it, but I've kind of played with it and looked at it, and I've decided that I do like it a lot. And it may replace some of the bigger knives I carry. It may not have the same capability. It may not have the same ergos, but for its size, it's very comfortable and very capable. Spyderco calls this a little big knife, and that's a pretty accurate description. It's a small knife. That's why I have these here. That's a large micarta Sabenza and a Prion 2 for comparison. As you can see, it's nearly the same size as a closed large Sabenza when it's open. So that gives you a little idea of the size. And I'll go ahead and open the Sabenza. You can see, excuse me, it's pretty diminutive. But that doesn't mean it's not capable. The price is, you could say it's bad, but that's all relative. I don't think it's bad. I'll go over why I don't think it's bad in a second, but I paid $80 for this out the door. I get kind of a deal at my local brick and mortar, so I paid maybe a little bit less than what you'll pay. Maybe not, I don't know. But the price isn't bad, and the reason I say the price isn't bad is the quality. This knife reeks of quality. I don't know, I've never held the FRN handle version, but this has full steel liners, and it's solid as a rock for a small knife. There's no give anywhere in it. If you can see, all that spacing is just so even, so fit, so finished. There's absolutely zero blade play, and I have the pivot loosened a good bit. The plunge lines, everything, the grinds are even. Everything is just quality. Everywhere is quality. Even show you blade centering. Through tightening and loosening, the blade hasn't moved. It's still perfectly centered. Perfectly centered. No tooling marks. Pretty much nothing bad to say as far as fit and finish. And it is made in Seki City, Japan, so I would say that their quality in manufacturing is just as good as Taiwan and just as good as Colorado. I know some people won't like to hear me say that, but it's the truth. Another reason I love this knife is the ergos. It's for a small knife, you would think it would be uncomfortable to use, but it's not at all. And the first thing I noticed was this little pinky shelf right here. And if you notice, in a natural grip, well, let's do this grip first. In a natural grip, when you're cutting something, the knife's going to be pulled this way out of your hand. And if you just had this little groove right here to grip it in, it would be unstable. It would be hard to keep it where it's at. This little pinky shelf right here makes it so much more stable. Really, I would say 80 or 90% of the pressure is right there on your pinky, and it's just natural to fold your hand up, and there you have basically a solid knife. It's not going anywhere. Even in this choked up grip, your pinky is still right there on the shelf, and it's solid as a rock. I've cut some cardboard with it. I have some pretty abrasive cardboard. It's pretty hard to get through, and this handled it just fine. So that little pinky shelf right there is one of the reasons I love this knife. Even in reverse grip, you have kind of a ramp right here. Your thumb goes right up on it, and your palm fits right into the thumb ramp. So you kind of have a strong reverse grip. And I'm also not worried about this knife closing on my hands or anything. Not worried about if I stabbed it into something. And I'll show you why. It's because even with my finger this far back, when you flick the knife down, that choil gives you plenty of room. You can have your finger all the way back here and still not get cut. So if your finger's up here, there's absolutely no way that you're going to get cut if the lock fails, which it won't. And also it gives you a pretty handy way to close it. So the ergos are fantastic. Even holding it like this, it just fits into your hand perfectly. So if you're cutting some fruit or something, it's just any grip you can put it in, it feels like it was designed for that. Even though, I mean, I know it's designed to be ergonomic, but every grip is just perfect. And there's not many knives I can say that about. The steel is VG10. I have to be honest, this is my first knife in VG10, so I don't have really any experience other than the few cuts I've done. But I've read a lot about it, and I know it's probably equivalent to, I don't know, 154 cm, maybe a little bit better than that, I'm not sure. But I know it's stain resistant, and I know it's been said that it's one of the best EDC steels. And a guy I know, it's his favorite steel, and he knows a lot, yours truly. So I kind of tend to believe him. Another great thing about this knife is the pocket clip. I didn't like wire clips for the longest time. They seemed kind of not gimmicky, they were just flimsy. But this knife has a pretty beefy pocket clip. I'll try and show you a good view of it. It doesn't flex at all. You have to really try and bend it to get it to flex, and it has a lot of spring. Great retention. And I guess the last thing I could talk about is the lock. This is my first Spyderco lock back, and I really do like it. The only criticism I have with it is that the boy dent is kind of deep. So I don't know about y'all, but my thumb is my thumb isn't big, but compared to this boy dent, it is big. So it's kind of hard to get it in there to shut the knife. But overall, I'll give this knife a 10 out of 10. It kind of surprised me that I would enjoy such a small knife, but I do. And I can't talk about the FRN version. I don't think I would like the FRN version. But this G10 with the full steel liners is definitely an A+ in my book. And it probably won't be my last small Spyderco. So anyway, thanks for listening to me talk. Bye.